pull the chair back a little.
Hey, welcome to y'all. This is Dr. G Show. This is episode 152.
Oh, wow.
And this is like year 5 or something.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't know you've been doing this that long. Wow.
It's been a long time.
Good.
And so we've been talking about kind of like your heroic journey. And so the idea of like Joseph Campbell's 12 Stages, the hero's journey. And what are you doing? You like looking up stuff on?
Is it, do you want to tag Mariah? Oh, okay. I'm just looking.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the question is on this, how did it know that Mariah was on here?
I know, isn't it? That's weird.
Well, that's creepy.
It is creepy.
All right, so we're trying to figure out, Mariah is almost the same height, but she wears high heels, and she's taller than me with high heels. But sitting here, there's a difference.
I know. I think he's
So
here.
we switched switched sides, and it might be my hair that makes me more tall. All right, so what? 150. Yeah. So last week we talked about a few different stages, and today we have special guest Mariah.
Aww.
Which you guys might remember from the Wise Women event. She was, I think, our first.
Your pilot program, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's been a part of a lot of the stuff that we do for a long time. And you are, tell me about what you are. Tell them what you are.
What I am. Okay.
So I don't mess it up. All right.
You.
See the therapist.
Well, yes, I'm a therapist.
Yeah.
I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a private practitioner in Wichita, Kansas. And then I am also an ADHD coach.
Yeah.
I'm an ADHD coach. And then I also have ADHD, just like you, Patrick.
I'm not ADHD. Look at
No,
this.
you're not ADHD.
Yeah.
But you have ADHD.
I think I'm minimal brain dysfunction disease.
That's why they used to call 19. I don't know. There was like 60s or 50s. That's what they used to call brain function disease. Isn't that horrible?
I know, but
it's horrible.
Nobody likes their kid being called minimal brain dysfunction, so they called it attention deficit and hyperactive disorder.
Well, I don't think that's how it came about. But anyhow, so yeah, I'm good to. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for bringing me on tonight.
Where's your practice at?
Oh, North Star Therapy, Kellogg and Oliver, 560 South Oliver. There's a right next to Quick Shop. What?
Yeah.
What?
All right. I didn't even know. I had an idea where your clinic was, but I guess I never actually.
Close to Suzanne's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It
okay.
is.
So last week we talked about this, and we all have these hero journeys where we have these kind of epic. Well, actually, let's correct that. Most people do not have a hero's journey.
What do you mean? I thought that everybody has it.
Most people who have completed some type of transformation has gone through the same journey. So we often think like, oh my gosh, my stuff's my stuff and it's unique, and nobody would understand my pain and all the tests and trials I went through. But it's all the same. It's all the same. So that's why I love the idea of the hero's journey. And last week we talked about ordinary world, which is status quo.
Yeah.
Which is like often where people are unaware of how bad things are.
Sure, yeah.
And I always go through...
Unconscious awareness.
Yes.
Yes.
I always call it Skinner boxing.
Skinner boxing?
Yeah, from Skinner's box,
yeah,
right? And so the dog becomes completely unaware, eventually just becomes normal that he's being shocked all the time. And
yeah.
Yeah. And so that's kind of how people are, where they're just like, well, you know how you poop every 3 days and you don't have enough energy and you run out, you're exhausted by 5 o'clock.
But that's their normal, though.
Brain fog. Yeah,
that's their normal.
That's their Skinner dog. That's their ordinary world, their status quo. Their, what would you say?
They're normal.
No, the other word.
Unconscious awareness?
Unconscious
actually, I was going to say maybe it's more like unconscious incompetency. Well, there's a competency level, right? So unconscious incompetency, conscious incompetency, and then conscious competency and unconscious competency. Basically, when we go through like trainings, expertise, experts, when we start learning about our area, careers, first time we don't even know what we don't know. So there's unconscious incompetency, right?
Okay, unconscious
incompetency, and then at one point you become aware that just how much you don't know. Then it comes the conscious incompetency. That's where we become really kind of uncomfortable. Then I say, oh my gosh, I don't know this, I don't know that, I need to learn this. So they're doing research, taking classes and whatnot. Then you kind of move into conscious competency. So then now at that point, now you know that you know some stuff.
Yes.
You're aware that you know some stuff.
Yes.
And the next level is like unconscious competency. That's where you kind of internalize your knowledge, so you don't even have to be aware whether you know or not, because you know it comes out.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
No, that's good. That's funny, because that's what, like, we take patients through all the time, and I'm sure that's how you take patients through, where they don't even know what they don't know, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, how did I not know all these things? And then it's like, I kind of got a good idea, and then they're transformed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then actually another the conceptual model for change, is that trans-theoretical change. The model is that it talks about the stage of a change, when, excuse me. And then actually in therapy world, we use this a lot. Oh, stage of behavior change right there, exactly.
Yeah.
So pre-contemplation, that's where a lot of times, patients or client comes like, I don't know what's going on, unaware of the problem.
Right.
But then, you go into the contemplations, which is like you say, oh, this is what's happening, one that they're like, oh, that's why I'm just sick, or I don't feel good, or hurt or depressed or anxious, things like that. Then that's, but that's the place where a lot of ambivalence happens.
Right.
Yeah, right. So move or not, on the fence or not. Am I going to change or not change? Well, I guess I need to change because it will be better for me. However, but this part is familiar, comfortable, and then easy, and also I'm not hurting anybody, kind of thing. So then that's where the stays. Actually, I talk to my clients about this a lot. As like, in my opinion, I think this is where most uncomfortable place to people to stay once they become conscious about incompetency, but then also this is where a lot of people stay the longest,
right? Because
they're just going back and forth,
right?
Pros and cons, waiting out, and do I have what it takes to make the change, or what is all gonna take to change, or am I do I even have a resource? Do I even have support? Or what if I don't? What if I fail? Those fear and then shame. What if I don't make it? Kind of thing. So that's where a lot of us or patients, clients is stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yes.
And it's funny because when you look at these things, these kind of modelings, before you know that, you just kind of think like, nobody understands you, or they don't understand your situation, or like you're somehow different or going through it in a different way. But once you know those models, you're just like, it's kind of all like you know the roadmap.
Exactly.
Like like it's not the world's flat like a pancake. We have a globe. We know that it's round.
Yes, I mean, I think so, because once we become aware of the stage of behavior change, then you can apply that to anything, internal or external changes you want to make. Okay, so where am I at right now? Well, even you're questioning yourself where you are at, that automatically puts you under contemplation, kind of thing. Okay, I want to change this behavior. Then you're already in contemplation.
Right.
Then okay, the next stage is like preparation, preparing what am I going to do, how am I going to change, and then you move into action, right?
Right. Well, that's the action part's the hard part. That's everybody's like, I'm gonna make a list. I'm gonna work out 3 times. I'm gonna join a gym.
Part. Yeah.
And
preparing.
They'll like do tons of stuff on preparation.
They spend all their time in preparing, right?
Right.
That's where.
But action is just like, well, I would get up and run every morning like I planned, but I had a late night because I watched that series on Netflix.
What was the Netflix that you watched? Yes, I think so. I think you're definitely right. People stay in the once they become aware of it, they spend also a lot of time preparing. I can do this and this and this and this. There's a motivation there. There's even willingness there. There's even readiness is there. However, if the confidence level doesn't match their motivation and readiness along with that, then the action may not
that's
come
right.
easy, happen,
Action will never happen until the pain of your current situation is greater than the pain of change.
Right. And
because change is scary.
Yes, change is scary. Absolutely.
So that's what last week we talked about, the status quo,
Okay.
and then the call to change.
Call to change.
Like,
Okay.
oh, I get diagnosed with something, or I just can't keep buying insulin for my type 2 diabetes, or I can't just constantly have these panic attacks, or
Right.
I just can't, sit on this couch and be depressed.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the vast majority of people refuse the call to action. So there's that call, like, you know what, I'm going to do something different.
Yes.
And I'm going to start planning. But the actual action part,
Mm-hmm.
that's where, and again, we all do this in
Right.
different layers or different levels, like you said, internally or externally.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll find reasons why we can't do it, why it won't work for us, why it's too difficult, why
Right.
it's, and I'm sure this is like your every day. Like,
Well, I live it every day.
that's what, with patients, like,
Uh-huh.
things are changing, but usually I don't have a website, I don't have a phone number,
Right,
I'm not in the yellow pages, I don't even have a sign downstairs, there's not a sign on my door.
Uh-huh.
Like, people have to be suffering immensely before they ever find me. And there's like different addresses online, like everybody's like you're so hard to find. It's like, but you found me.
Yeah.
That action, right?
Exactly.
You know that they are ready for change. Where sometimes, hey you guys, and post questions if you guys have them too. I want to hear about y'all's kind of journey, or kind of where you're at, or why you're stuck too.
Mm-hmm.
And today, so we talked about refusal,
Right.
and then today we want to kind of talk about meeting the mentor. So the meeting the mentor is that critical point where you've refused and refused and refused, and then there's that person, whether it's inside you,
Yeah.
or whether it's someone external, or whether it's something you read or saw, some motivating factor that allows you enough kind of energy to push past your refusal, and then you take that step. So there's the meeting of the mentor, and then there's the crossing the threshold, which is the scariest place in the world to ever be, ever. And then the last thing we want to talk about today is, in the second stage, is tests and allies and frenemies and enemies.
Yeah.
And then, next week we'll talk about approaching the innermost cave. And that's like the scariest part in the world.
I think I love that part. I think that's maybe my favorite part.
The
Yeah.
innermost cave?
Yeah, I think that's my because it's just so. It's beautiful. That's the way the transformation happens. I remember talking about that part in a while back with you and the season, but that is I think that can be most difficult. I guess painful even.
Yes. Because it's you.
Right.
It's no longer other people that are holding you back.
Your own shadows.
It's
but I think that I think that's where you kind of actually come to Jesus meeting, or face to face with your own shadows that are holding you back. So confronting that and then coming out of that, it's just that's amazing. That's what I live for. I mean, like my work working with the clients. When I see that happening, there's a shift. Just like the shift happens after 2-3 months or 6 months later, the refusal or rationalizations and intellectualizing, and they're like no, and they have all these reasons why they want to stay where they are at, but then something happens and then the shift happens, and then they're then willing, they have that level of strength in their own ego, or level of willingness and a level of openness to where, okay, bring it on, I'm gonna face it, and then let's do this kind of thing. So that is I think for me that is really beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful aspect. I mean that cycle. Yeah, I love it.
We might have to have you on next week for that.
No. Let me check my calendar. You have a habit of asking the last minute, but with me, you asked last Tuesday, right?
I gave you like a whole
week. Right? Yes. I was like, oh my gosh, he gave me a whole week. I better.
I'm all like, can you be a speaker in the next 10 minutes?
Yeah. You did.
But that's only because I trust your confidence.
Oh yes.
See?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that. What a nice way to kind of reframing that.
No, it's true.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Patrick.
So, so talk about so let's talk about meeting the mentor.
Yeah.
And so I wrote down a couple things here because.
Oh, yeah, I can see now.
One thing I really liked is someone wrote that you're never the hero of your own journey before it starts, because in the beginning you're a failure. You're frustrated with status quo. You can't do it. right? Before you meet that mentor, you are constantly failing all the time. Like people in yo-yo diets.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like I've tried, several times to go off my meds and I just still need them and I feel like a failure. Or I've tried to lose weight and I fail. Well, that's great. The whole reason you go on this journey is because you have failed on your own, right?
Yeah.
And you have to change.
Right.
If you don't change, if you got to make it, let's say, if you want to change, you got to make a change. Because if you don't make a change, you're going to be exactly where you are, where you already said you didn't want to be.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool the way you said it. I don't think I can say that out loud. I need to provide.
So some psych teachers told me that my freshman year of college.
Oh,
Got to
really?
make a change, because if you don't make a change, you're going to be exactly where you are, where you already said you didn't want to be.
Wow, yeah, that's absolutely true though. Yeah. So today actually I had I had a conversation with somebody. I said, they're in my office. They come to my office, like patient comes to see you. There's a reason.
Yeah.
And then usually people come see us because they are already aware of whatever they're doing is not working.
Right.
So they are seeking to get help. But that's I wonder if that can fall into that mentor or meeting or acquiring the support system or resources because they know they don't have the resource for themselves.
Right.
Right. So when they come to our office, they're kind of in a way they're ready to make changes.
Yeah.
But it's just
close.
Yeah, close. Or just how much depends on what you tell me to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what I think. Even with patients, I know some people feel like really overwhelmed, but like I really want to provide overwhelming information to why this is so important, how you can change, how the body heals, all this, to hopefully convince them that
they can.
It's not the next gimmick, and you can do it.
But yeah, I think what happens with me, at least with my my field and my work, is that information, knowledge is not what necessarily they need.
Right.
It's the self-confidence.
Yeah.
It's the overcoming fear.
Yeah.
Whether what if it doesn't work, or okay, all that sounds great, brain or body or food, and all that sounds great, but also I think we're going back to kind of status code is that okay, what am I gonna have to let go?
Right.
In order to gain what I want.
Yes.
But instead of focusing on here, what am I gonna gain? We tend to focus on what am I gonna lose.
Right.
And then that's more scary.
Yeah.
At that moment.
You mean I can't have my gluten, but I'm gonna feel better?
Right. Exactly.
I can't have my dairy, but I won't be bloated all the time, and I can wear skinnier jeans. You
mean I can't blame my parents anymore for what I'm at right now? Then I have to own up to my own problems. You mean I have to actually?
Do you know have you been reading my diary? Have you been reading my diary?
You mean I have to really kind of take accountability over my own actions instead of blaming?
Who's that? So
thanks for
Lori.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one question for you guys. Hey, there's Jenna. One thing for you guys is with meeting the mentor. So think of like Yoda or Morpheus in the Matrix, right?
Who else? The monkey, the Lion King.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even remember his name. I haven't watched it. Okay.
So have you guys been through, or let's say for the people that have been through like their own journey, they have overcome and they become a different person, who is your mentor? Like how many of you guys had yourself, your own inner voice was that thing? Because I know Melanie Samo, when she was speaking at the Wise Women thing, she was laying there and just like, girl, you gotta get off the floor and you gotta make some changes. And it's funny because so much of the time, like I have my own little mentor, but my mentor does not
tell you to get up. They tell you to stay in bed.
Well, it's just
that's not a mentor actually.
It's just
friend
like
of me. Friend of me.
I think my mentor's a friend because it's kind of like I like that you said intellectualize, because I can intellectualize my inner mentor. An inner mentor is not going to help me.
Or rationalize what you're doing is what this is working, or why you're not doing what you're not doing. Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah, so
especially, I love how transparent you were during the Wise Women. I always try to be very transparent because everybody needs to know it's the common human journey that we all go through. Nothing's really that unique.
Yeah.
But I think my first mentor really was Scott Spradlin, and
Aww.
he's the one that really started opening my eyes to like, what about making changes, because I never could do it myself, because I couldn't submit to myself, because I could always talk myself out of stuff. I could always just be like, you know what? I look pretty fit today, looking at the chest and here, and don't look at the belly from the side, and But then I see a picture, of me, and I'm just like, who the hell is that? Why do I'm gonna make some changes. But it wasn't enough to be my own mentor. But I like how Melanie Samo, like her inner voice finally reached that point where it was all the mentoring
enough is enough.
Needs. Yeah.
But I think also, meeting mentor, I think that's a great ways to kind of have the resource, have the support, have the encouragement, have the push, have the remind you that you are wise. You have to be able to hear, be connected with your own wisdom, and I think it's great. But also another thing is that you have to be open. You have to be open to hear it. So there's I think an ancient proverb. I don't know where it came from, but this is the one that has been my favorite thing for years. It goes like this. It says, "There's no worse blind man than man who doesn't want to see. There's no worse deaf man than man who doesn't want to hear. There's no worse madman than man who doesn't want to understand."
Yeah.
Let it sink in. So you identify Scott as your first mentor. At that time, I wonder you were open. You were just, your eyes were open, your ears were open.
Yeah.
You wanted to understand. You know what I mean? So that's why that was able to kind of whatever you guys were talking about, whatever his role was, you were able to receive that. You were receptive in that position. So again, I think. I have many mentors, and I feel so lucky and blessed to have so many mentors in my life. Spiritual mentors, my academic, and then social worker, or and the person. I mean, they just pour in so much to me that I don't know what I don't think I will be here today without them. So there's definitely the need that relationship, being person. Also. You reading?
Oh, that's Andrew.
Aww.
Jesus.
Oh, she's sweet. Oh, that's nice. Oh, he's been talking so much about you, Andrea, right before we started. Oh my goodness! If I would have gotten here about an hour early, I would have just charged him. Are you blushing?
Yeah, it's just fine.
She's so sweet. You're so sweet. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see you so smiling, being happy. Anyhow, can we move on? Do you kind of want to?
All right.
Look what you did, Andrea. He can't even focus now. He's just all blushing, and I think it's hot in here or something.
It is hot in here. Turn my fan on.
Anyhow, so about the mentor. Okay, and I think sometimes it doesn't even have to be a person, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just could be, something we read, or like a book, or self-help book, or something you hear, maybe music, or even a song, or something just gets your heart. It's just like, something kind of a really, like, hey, their hearts and that kind of thing. But, or books, or in spiritual, part of it, like relationship with the spirit, the higher being, God or whoever that that can be the mentor too, right?
Well,
your own wisdom.
Yeah. A lot of patients, I think, in the beginning they kind of would say that their mentor is something spiritual, like Southern Baptist.
I don't know. I didn't grow up here, so I don't know what that is.
You don't even get the joke.
Yeah, I wouldn't get the joke. Sorry about that. But also, I was reading. I can't remember maybe Samo. Inner wisdom, right? On inner wisdom, that also can mentor. Can be your values. That your integrity, that you're what's meaningful, important to you that you really weren't able to see or you weren't able to pay attention. So during the process of first part of your journey, you maybe get in touch with or reminded of who you are or who you are, who you
Right.
are. Things that makes your life joyful, and then again, they just being able to reconnect with what is important to you in your life, and then values, and then things that you're yearning, things that are important to you. That could be your own mentor too.
Yeah.
Could be
Well, I think of like, so when you were saying that, I was like, think of Eye of the Tiger.
I the tiger.
Yeah, and so it's just like, oh, I could freaking do this. And, you just like run and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, and I gotta say, there's even like with me, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Like, is there any songs that like help mentor you, and or movies? Like, I know for whatever reason, Limitless, like that really motivates me for some reason, and then sometimes like very specific music, like they'll have lyrics that are just like they really speak to the kind of words that I need to hear.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And the one, well, I don't know. They're one's called Far Alone, but it's like you said I couldn't do it, but now I'm here. And I like that because again, it's just that sometimes you just start getting broken down, and something doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and this doesn't work. And you just need that person or that song or something to kind of mentor you back to overcoming that.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So in the Matrix, I like when he says,
Morpheus?
yeah.
Okay.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. So that's that refusal. You want to refuse change, or do you want to take the red pill? And if you take the red pill, everything changes.
But you don't even know how it's gonna change. You have no clue. I mean, I think that in itself, not knowing what's going to happen, that creates enough fear to just stay put.
Right.
I mean, if I bring a box, 2 boxes, and then there's a hole, and then 1 box is, I say, I don't know what's in it. Put your hand in it.
Right.
Versus, okay, this another box. I know there's a stress ball or a dead mouse, whatever. Even this dead mouse, you probably gonna put your hand in here. I don't know.
Because you know.
Yeah, because then the box that you don't know what's in it.
Right.
This unknown is fear.
Yeah. Because even violence, and we talked about that before, but even like domestic abuse or unhappy relationships or unhappy self-relationships, at least it's known.
You know what to expect,
you
right?
know?
Yeah, you know what's coming. Yes.
But like that idea of dating someone, and we've probably all been through this, where you're dating someone and you're just like, okay, this is too good. Like, what's gonna happen? And like you start feeling awful because you're just like, when's it gonna go off the rails?
My goodness.
And you're just
is
like,
what's happening with you right now?
I don't know. Like, when can you,
right.
In patients, I'll tell you, the patients that I see this most in are Crohn's and ulcerative colitis kind of patients, and IBS.
Chronic, disease.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they are just like, their whole life is changed by the fact that they cannot control their bowels, right?
Right.
And so then when everything goes normal and they're just like, I'm pooping 3 times a day and it's predictable and I don't have blood, and then they're just like I gotta say, the majority of patients actually feel more anxious being normal than they did when they felt out of control.
Yeah, because they almost like anticipating when this is gonna fall apart. Yeah, exactly. They're anticipating. Okay, how long is this gonna last? Or what if tomorrow I wake up and I go back?
Right.
Almost like you didn't know what you like until you have it.
Right.
Then once you have it, you're afraid that you're gonna lose it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad, isn't it?
Yes.
I think that's human nature in a way. So I think that's where I think intentional the shift, and then also like mindfulness or practice or some sort of tools that you can use to kind of be in the moment, be with the moment, instead of living past or future, worrying about tomorrow, and then what if I go back to how I was, things like that. So definitely.
Well, and yeah, I think that, yeah. So basically, like the mentor, is that crucial like information of like this is how you're gonna make change, and they give them insight and wise advice and practical training.
Yeah.
So like that mindfulness training too.
Just curious, then when your patient kind of says, hey, is this gonna last forever? Okay, what if doesn't something happen tomorrow? What am I gonna do when you see them being anxious about the being better?
Yeah.
How do you kind of guide them? What do you do?
Well, he's just like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's just calm down and be all right. And
Okay.
especially reminding them like, look, this is better than it used to be.
Right.
Just enjoy that ride.
Yeah, just basically this. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's where almost guidance.
Yeah.
You're allowing them to be anxious at the same time, acknowledging that it's anxious
Yeah.
because it's change, but also kind of encouraging them, reminding them that this is
Yeah.
what you have right now. You can enjoy it.
Yeah.
If something else happens, we deal with it.
Yeah.
That kind of providing this almost like assurance.
Right.
Yeah, you're kind of going
Yeah.
along with this journey with them, so they don't feel like lost, or they don't feel like they're alone, or
Yeah.
they can
A
rely
sense
on
like,
you.
I got your back. Don't worry.
Exactly, I got your back. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, with all that kind of right tribe almost kind of thing,
Mhm.
where, look, if it goes bad, let's deal with that.
Right.
But otherwise, it'll be okay. So, what she said, no, you guys,
Is that?
shut it down.
Shut it down.
Shut it
I
down.
don't think he's gonna be able to continue this, Andrew, if you
No.
keep going.
You don't need to stop. So,
Don't tell me, tell her. I'm not the one saying it.
well, with like self-confidence, I think one of the things that patients, and I don't know if this is true, but what I feel like is I create a lot of the self-confidence for them to rely on to basically overwhelm their doubts.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's going to be fine. I speak with confidence and it's all going to be fine. It's just easy to fix. Just do this.
Right.
Do that. And, this sense of like, if I was like, well, I don't know, maybe it'll get
You're
worse.
allowing, almost like, you're professional. I mean, you're a doctor, right? So they come in and they're looking for answer, because, hey, this is going on, this is happening, what's going on. And then you're giving them that confidence, like you said, almost they're being confident about what you're doing, how you're doing, then the process of this journey, and then, like you show me those data and showing them those these data of success, and then what happens, this and that creates assurance, and then also maybe initially they might not have confidence in themselves, but they can cross the threshold seeing your confidence.
Right.
Okay, he is really confident and he knows what he's talking about, he's doing it, I'm gonna trust him. So almost they're borrowing your confidence to cross that threshold, and then during that process, going through the journey, and then baby steps, or step one step, or second step, whatever, step by step, they start seeing the results. They start seeing the differences they are making in their life.
Yeah.
Because they are actually one doing it. Then they start gaining that self-confidence.
Right.
So I think that's really important, is that they can see you as like, oh wow, look at him, he's really confident, and he's competent and confident, and I think he knows what he's talking about. I think I can trust him.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's okay for me to let go of this. I think I can leap to the unknown because he knows.
Yeah.
Because he knows. I might not know, but he knows. I think that's the one mentor, our process is that, the hero's journey, they provide their own wisdom. They've been there, done that, and then so I got you. You can do it. You have what it takes to make it work, or make it cross that threshold, and start your journey. I'm here. I have faith in you.
Yeah.
That it is amazing, just how having the sense of I don't know, believe, somebody believing in you. Right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I can take one step, two steps, third steps, oh, that's pretty cool. And then, of course, then I think your goal is to, give them all this information, teach them, change lifestyle, so that later on they can generalize in other areas,
Right.
so they can continue to make those changes.
Keep growing.
Keep growing, yes.
Well, it's funny too, because as you keep saying I keep thinking like, well, that's how people are with their faith.
Absolutely.
Their faith is stronger than their ability to be strong until they can be strong.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. They rely on the faith,
Right.
because they know that's where they draw their strength. Because
Yeah.
myself, I'm not strong, and I know I'm weak, or this is not something I feel like I can pull myself through. But I know there's a higher spiritual being, or a higher being. In my case, God is that I know His strength is it's stronger, or He has strength. I can borrow the strength from Him. I know He got me. I know He has me, and He's gonna carry me through. That faith, it really gets me through the difficult situations, and I think that's again this mentor, or I think that's really important. And like clients coming see me too is kind of very similar. Is that I don't know what I'm doing. It's like everything I've been doing has not worked. So here I am sitting in front of you, in the office. I was like, well, okay. Well, you try your ways, excuse me, and it hasn't worked, or it worked to a certain point or to a certain way, but just not haven't given you the result you want. Well, let's try my way, kind of thing,
Right.
Or let's try together. Let's two brains better than one. So it's just kind of about giving them reminding them that also that they have wisdom, but let's bring it out.
Right.
Yeah, because it's kind of dormant here right now.
Yeah.
Dormant. So let's bring it out.
It's kind of dormatted.
Dormanted.
Stomped on, destroyed.
Not dormanted. Dormanted.
Well, I don't know.
Sometimes they just forget that they have those wisdoms. But anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think probably I bet you anything that the weight of the mentor, whether it's internal or external, is really based on the overcoming of confidence, of change.
Okay, can you repeat that again? I'm sorry, I just spaced out a little bit.
ADD.
ADHD. Let's go.
Oh, okay. See?
Okay.
All right, so I bet you anything the weight. Let's see, the ability to invoke the confidence, or the weight of the confidence. I don't know what I said now.
That's ADHD. Most like
all right, so wait. Well, because I was, like
you're processing and then you spit it out. You say,
So basically, the strength of that either internal confidence is proportionate to their ability to overcome that change, to cross that threshold. Like, it has to be something that gives them overwhelming confidence. Like, I think confidence, all the things that the mentor says, is really the confidence that you're buying into them or into your own self if you're your own mentor. Okay, so like that red pill or blue pill, like you have to believe that Morpheus knows what the hell he's talking about.
Right.
Or you're not going to take his damn pill, right?
I wouldn't know.
And you don't have enough confidence in yourself, or else you would have took the pill yourself, right?
Well, I think that's really interesting too. Is that I think I'm wondering also there's some willingness to be okay with failing.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, so I was thinking too, like submitting. You will not cross that threshold till you submit to the idea that you will fail, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Or that
it's not the end of the world,
and it'll be okay.
Yeah, right. It's not the end of the world, because almost that realization of, okay, if I'm gonna try this, but if it doesn't work, but it's okay.
Right.
I can try something else.
Right.
That not like oh, I'm gonna try this, but if it doesn't work, it's end of the world.
Right.
And then I was like, oh my God, then that's the only thing. Then there's too much at risk, or too much stake, I guess.
Right.
Because if you see this one thing as the only option to get you better, and you put all these eggs in one basket, basically, this is the only thing, only way I can get better, but then there's a lot of pressure. So I guess allowing yourself to have less, putting less pressure on yourself to, if this doesn't work, it's gonna be okay.
Right.
There's other ways around.
Yeah.
one time I had a client came into my office. She wanted to quit smoking, and then she wanted me to do a hypnotherapy. And then one thing she said was, she said, "This is the last thing, Mariah. This is my last choice, last option to quit smoking." I was like, "Really? Man, no pressure, Then so we kind of I kind of work with her about on that. I was like, no, this is not only option. This is not the last option you have. So we kind of worked through that. But guess what? I didn't even have to do hypnotherapy with her. She quit smoking.
Nice.
I know. Because I didn't give her hypnotherapy because she said it was the last option. So I said, I'm not going to do it.
That's the last one after this one.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Michelle Yai.
They're learning
experiences, not failure or mistakes. Yeah, exactly. Everything's a learning experience.
Yeah.
And so whatever.
Trial and error.
Exactly.
I said it's a trial and error, okay? And then correction, trial and error and correction.
Yes, you gotta do the correction.
Yeah, correction. It's not trying to perfection.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
So the mentor's goal is to overcome the doubts and fears, and to give strength and courage to that person that they can.
It could be your own inner self as well.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And then next, and then to cross the threshold. Right. Okay.
So that's like that. Like, I even remember my part crossing the threshold. I remember you at the Wise Women where you're just like, oh, I give great presentations. Like, no, I want you to be like vulnerable, and then you're just like,
No, I didn't say I give a great presentation.
Yes.
I said I don't know what to do. That's what I said. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I have no clue what I'm talking about. I was freaking out actually.
And you stepped up there, and you had all those cue cards, didn't you?
I know. Yeah, I didn't use
And then it was just like you were like crossing the threshold, and you had all these fears and doubts, and then you just
I was really scared. Yeah.
You crossed.
Yeah, I
you
did.
Crossed.
I crossed.
It was too late. Like once you're up there on stage, it was just like.
I guess my way of crossing the threshold was that you're kicking off my heels.
Yes.
Barefooted.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you're barefoot
I'm
too.
barefooted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and so that crossing, that's that action part of those stages. Like
the change stages.
So that kind of where you're at, and you're just like, you know what? I went to the gym. I ate a salad. I didn't eat wheat or dairy today. I didn't eat any MSG. I bought healthy stuff. Like you start to like have actions, and the actions is pretty good. There's the kind of changes or the challenges.
Practicing new behaviors.
Right. Practicing new behaviors.
Yeah.
So, but you're starting to learn. Okay, these are what I need to do. My mentor says these things, or this is what I can do. And then whether it's physical, spiritual, or emotional, you start applying the changes.
Right.
And so that's very scary because it's like, again, that leap of faith.
Right.
It's a big leap of faith of believing that you can make these changes. I'm going to start doing stuff, but
you also gain sense of self, confidence.
That's
and
right.
efficacy, and then some, empowerment too. Oh,
Exactly.
Look, I went to gyms twice this week. I never went to gym twice in a row. Man,
Right.
look at that. I can do this,
Yeah.
So kind of start building the confidence, building the, sense of empowerment, or, and then also I'm making these, choices, determinations too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of the gaining, boosting confidence, self-esteem, or even building the self-image for the positive. Like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I did that. Yeah. Oh, I went without eating spaghetti for about a week, and then I survived. Oh, it's not bad. Hey, that wasn't bad. So then I think that's where also we are able to let go of the old habit that we've been holding on to, the fear. Oh, what am I gonna lose? What if I lose? But I think that's when we can kind of, I lost or let go of it. I'm okay with it.
Right.
So, for instance, clients come in, they say, well, I have to stop smoking because my doctor says I have to give it up. So I have to give up the smoking. I said, do you want to smoke? And they're like, yeah, but I don't want to give it up. I said, okay, then why are you? Because my doctor says so. I was like, okay, but you don't want to give it up. You don't want to let go. But I have to. So then it kind of like we play kind of these war games one night. Then I said, do you want to give up, or do you want to let it go? So when we say we have to give up, it's almost like forced. Somebody's
Nice.
pushing me to do it. So
Yeah.
that it's not my will. I'm just forced to do it. Well, you know
Right.
what? Human nature. If somebody tell me to do something, I say, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
It's like an automatic, like a natural, rebellious, part of it. It's like, watch me. I'm not doing it. But if they ask you that, okay, would you like to let go, or would you like to hold on to it? Then it becomes your choice. I'm giving you the power.
Right.
I'm handing over to you. So now you have a choice either let go or hold on to it.
Yeah.
Nobody asking you to give it up. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's probably one of the most critical things with the test and the trials that people go through once they step across is rewriting the scripts in their head. It's, I've been eating really healthy, so I deserve this thing that makes me feel awful.
We talked about. So you've been doing so good, so you're gonna give you a reward by giving yourself a poison. That's what I said. I was like, oh, okay,
Right.
that doesn't really make sense. So anyhow.
Yeah. And I even remember that very moment of rewriting my own script, because I tell patients this all the time. And then when I went through my own little journey, it was just like, you know what? I've been doing so good, and I feel so awesome this week. I deserve to eat some pizza, just like one slice. And then I was like, but I don't feel good.
Well, but the thing
And
about
so I
it
was
is
like,
that how are you rewarding yourself by giving yourself
Right.
giving yourself very thing that makes you sick?
Right.
Your point. So that's the thing. It's like, so are you really rewarding yourself?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. You're
So-
self-sabotaging.
So I had to switch that, and I said, you know what? I feel good. I deserve to keep feeling good. I'm not going to eat that.
Give yourself
I can eat it,
massage.
but I'm not going to eat it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then I felt better the whole day, and I was just like, isn't that weird that you'd self-sabotage your progress? You're like, wow, I made $100 today. I guess I'll go waste
Go
a
to
bunch of
casino,
it. Right.
because I worked really hard. I'm not gonna blow this money up. Yes, exactly.
It doesn't make any sense, but it's so much of human nature
It
that
is,
we feel
it is.
like we have to have constant rewards
Uh-huh.
for feeling like a reward. Like even though I did dessert, you ate your food, you feel great. Now eat this thing that's gonna make you feel awful.
Almost like, okay, I've been sober from crack cocaine. I'm gonna reward myself by using ones.
That's what I did. No.
No, but it's the same concept,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're giving yourself rewards, something the very thing that got you sick from the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys? So with you guys, are there things that you've had to rewrite your scripts for? So like kind of telling yourself a different story.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, like I have patients that are grown ass adults, and they're just like, well, this is a stupid question. Why would you even say that? Or, it's kind of silly that I asked it. No, why would you say that? Or, I failed today because, why would you say that? Right? It's not failure to mess up. It's failure to go back to the old status quo.
Yeah.
So during that kind of testing period, you're basically in this uncomfortable zone where you're just like, why I'm doing these things. Nobody understands why. It's not. I don't. My friends that I've surrounded myself with, they, say they're all smokers. Well, now if I don't go smoke at break, who am I going to hang out with? And there's all these kind of tests.
I hang out.
That's right.
Me and myself and I wonder if that really kind of fits into the third part of the second phase of test allies enemies.
Right.
Right. It is those enemies or frenemies or allies. It can be very much your own inner self. Your inner self can be your own shadow or your own wisdom or your own
right.
Not wisdom, not wise part can be your own enemy or frenemy. Hey, it's okay. You worked really hard. You went to exercise 4 times this week, so you can skip next week.
Right.
That's that's frenemies, right? But then it can be your own voice, like you say, your own script can be either allies or enemies or frenemies. Yeah. I think
and I think a lot of times we're our own frenemies because we're just like we're the ones tempting ourselves or talking ourselves down or beating ourselves up. Often it's not even other people. Other people believe in you and they're like, you're doing a great job, and you're like, well, but, and then you downgrade yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's I think at one of the wise women, someone said, sometimes you shouldn't believe what you think.
I said.
You said that? Well, I'm quoting you to you.
I think. I mean, maybe there's somebody else said too, but I I heard this is from I got from in the coaching my process is that don't believe everything you think.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly the quote.
Okay.
That's
all
the
right.
quote.
That's what you're
All
trying
right.
to say. Okay. Yes, I said that. Don't believe everything you think.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with it. Many other people, wise people, came up with it, and I believe that because our mind. Actually, I said, only thing a lot of times where I am at now versus where I want to be. Only thing is in between that blocking me is me.
Right.
So my mind, right?
Yeah.
Or me. So we often say, get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And how can you get out of your own way? I think that's when you recognize, okay, again, allies, enemies, frenemies, whatever. How is my thought, what I'm thinking, what I'm believing, serving me?
Right.
We don't even have to dig in. We don't even have to try to, why am I having this thinking? Or why am I, doing this and that? We don't even have to go there because then we get stuck trying to figure out why.
Right.
Which is not going to give us any change.
It's the wrong question.
Yeah. So then, okay, I'm having these thoughts. Like I say, well, I can reward myself with the pizza. Okay, well, hang on. How would that serve me right now? Is that going to help me or hurt me?
Exactly.
I mean, so the answer is pretty easy. Or, okay, well, that's interesting. What do I want to do? How do I want to feel? Feel tomorrow. And then knowing that pizza is not going to make me feel any better, then you make the conscious choice, intentional decision or choice. So that
right. No, that's exactly the deal.
Still waiting on T-shirt.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Did you promise T-shirts?
Oh, Newman, he always says we should have a T-shirt.
What T-shirt?
The Dr. G Show or Dr. G and the Boss.
Oh, nice. Deb?
Okay. So Deb says my internal framework is trying to...
Frenemy.
Oh, frenemy.
Is trying to talk me into a hot fudge sundae. If you see me with a black eye, it's because I might have... Okay, this you have to... I might have to knock her out. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's funny, right?
Well, that's... Yeah, and I'll tell you, changing who you are is almost a direct insult to the people you're closest with, to the people that are friends. Like if you...
Insult?
Yeah, like, okay, so
then those people are not really your friends.
Right.
Right.
But no, like even if you take, like, say, family, and you're like, you know what, my kids are going to eat dairy and gluten and sugar. And then the grandparents are like, I've eaten wheat and dairy and sugar, and you were raised on that, and you turned out fine. I turned out fine. How could you betray?
There's a resistance, like almost like it's a very much personal, right?
It's a personal insult to other people that you do different things. Like, well, we don't really go out and drink anymore. We like to do meditation and yoga.
Ooh.
Well, who do you think you're
are? Higher than mighty.
Right? It's just like, wait, shouldn't you be proud for me? Shouldn't you be happy? Or, I'm feeling so blessed. Well, good for you.
Oh.
Like.
You did it really well.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good for you.
Don't make me read you, write you, erase you, fax you, Xerox you, and shred you.
How do you even memorize those kind of stuff and they barely can memorize how to put this microphone together?
I know, but that's from Mad TV from the 80s.
Oh my gosh, you're funny. Anyhow, okay, go back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So there's like some people are very resistant to your changes, or kind of pushing back to your change.
Frenemies.
Yes, even though it has nothing to do with them, they still take it personal. They still take it as insult.
Yeah, kind of like if you quit smoking. Oh, you look at you, high and mighty. You don't have to smoke. Or people that stop drinking with their friends, or they stop.
Yeah.
There's times like I love going out, going to clubs and dancing, all that kind of stuff. But then there's times you don't. But then, like, if you have friends that they'll get in relationships and suddenly they don't want to go out and dance and party and stuff. And, sometimes people will just be like, oh, you think you're so much better and that person's destroying your life and they take you away from me. And it's just like, no.
So they take it very personal insult.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
that's interesting. Don't hang out with people like that.
That's right. You got to get a new right tribe.
Yes. Build your own tribe that is not frenemies.
Right.
Allies and encourager and then mentor and then somebody who's kind of push you at times you don't want to get, you want to stay still, but it's kind of give you a nice, loving, kind nudge.
So what do you?
Trip you over. I'm just kidding.
So we talked about kind of tests and tribulations and stuff that people have to go through, right? It's either going to make them or break them, and so you want that constant mentor. And hey, you have your frenemies trying to destroy you, you have your enemies trying to destroy you, and then you got to find that right tribe. Right.
Yeah.
So kind of like you were talking about, like having little mentors all over the place, or people that support you, love you. You can be transparent to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't even think probably most of my life, people always admired me because I was just kind of naturally good at stuff.
Sure, yeah. You're really smart, yeah. Look at all these things on your wall.
But
seriously, you're very smart, yeah.
I never had people that I could, I only had one or two people that like they knew I grew up poor. They knew I grew up in the hood. Like they knew I grew up in violence. And like, nobody else knew that. So you had these kind of people, they didn't even know where you came from,
right.
you know? And so like I never had that right tribe until after my journey. And then I found, like, when I started doing meditation, I started going to yoga, starting to get involved with different things that were all this kind of like right tribe stuff. Suddenly, like, I really went from kind of just feeling like you're off on alone to really feeling like you have a healthy
sense of belonging,
right,
the right tribe. Yeah, you matter, and and just like connection. Those gives you meaningful connection. Gives you just it's amazing when you are able to have that kind of a relationship with somebody and other people and then tribes, and then you feel like you're understood. And I think. And then you become more wise too. I think there's a scripture called, I'm not good at scripture, I quote, but it says, walk with the wise, you become wise, walk with the fool.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, thank
all
you,
right.
And then, they said that one of book I really like, Gerald and Ronald Greer, the name of the book is, If You Know Who You Are, You Know What to Do. It talks about integrity, values, and then knowing who you are. So then we make decisions based on who I am, who I want to be, what's important to me, my values, and then my desire, yearnings, instead of making a decision based on fears, rejection, avoidance, failures, and things like that. So it completely changes the trajectory of your outcome or wherever you're going, because what pushing you to make a decision is completely different from from fear based, one from the your values, the importance in your life. So who you want to be, what kind of person you want to be, and finding tribes who really encourages you that, and they promote that, or even push you to kind of take it to the next level, or even maybe sometimes you don't like to hear it, but maybe even be able to tell you things, very, of course, from loving and kind manner and respectful manner, that, hey, have you thought about this way? Because what I'm watching you, when I see you doing this, it hurts my heart, because I'm not sure if this is the best way to, it's serving you well, kind of things. Being somebody who can be truthfully be honest with you, and because they have your best interest in heart, right? Yeah.
So they said your best actual friend is the one that's blatantly honest with you, even when it hurts.
Yeah.
Would you say that's true?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for me, but you want to be kind in a way. You want to make
sure you want to know that person loves you.
You want to be kind. You want to deliver the message so that they can hear your intention.
Right.
Yes, baby, what you're saying to them doesn't feel good to hear it, because sometimes we don't like to hear some things that we do wrong, right? But if you truly see the other person's true intention, their intentions, their motivation, then it's easy to hear it, easy to take it. I think that's the only way, through feedback from other people. That's the only way we can expand our blind spot. I'm talking about Joe Harris' window. Hi, Jim. I'm Jim Maddox. Hi, Terry. So there's Joe Harris' window. Is like excuse me. 4 quadrant is conceal how we. The public, private ourselves, and then next part is how we present ourselves, and the third part is in a blind spot, which we don't know but other people see, and the other part is unconscious. So private part is that I know, but you don't know about
Yeah.
me. And then, our public self is that I know that in the you know as well. Like, I'm a woman, you and I know. And the blind spot is that something that I don't know about me, but you know.
Right.
So in order for us to be healthy, we have to, we want to kind of make it small, the blind spot, so that we become more aware of the things that we're doing. It's unhealthy, not helpful, self-sabotaging, doesn't serve me, and at all.
Yeah.
And then we can only do that through feedback from other people. So
Yeah.
so again, bluntly saying something like, hey, but I think the way you take the feedback is really important too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I actually had a friend who, one of my best friends, and she said something about, I don't know, I can't remember. It's like, I don't know. I felt like it was just like the worst thing she could possibly say about me.
aww.
And I was just like, you suck. And like, I didn't say it, but I was just like, she's full of crap, and da da da. And so I always ask myself one question. If something's uncomfortable, is it true?
Oh yeah.
And then I have to sit there and wrestle with that. And it's like, is it true? Could it be possibly true? Maybe I'm not seeing this about myself. Maybe I'm coming off the wrong way. Maybe I am this way. And then once you ask us if is this true about me, and start wrapping your mind around it, then you can accept that. But holy crap, it sucks to deal with your own inner demons or your own blind spots.
Right. Yeah, I know. But I think that it's like that. But that's also a journey, though. I mean, I think if we can, talk about apply this hero's journey to each even small or big, anything that we just go through try to change,
Right.
or we found excuse me, ourselves we don't like about. So I think again that coming to is that willingness, openness,
Yeah.
to receive the feedback, and then we can reject everybody's feedback however we want. We don't even have to let it sink in. We can
Yeah.
even that stinks, but I think I kind of do that, but who cares? I just want to be me.
Yeah.
And then we can just reject that and then go on with our lives. But again, I think there's the wisdom there for you to like, oh, hang on, let me think about this. Let me sit with this.
Right.
Is this true? So you're actually, that's coming from the awareness of importance of that, also the wisdom too. Is like, okay,
Yeah.
there's something to think about.
Especially when like your intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Your intentions of what you think you're doing versus what you're actually doing becomes your blind spot.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's hard because you're reconciling with it, but that's not what I meant.
Right,
You
exactly. So then I think that's really hard, too, is that because that's not what I meant to.
Right.
But
right.
somebody, perceiving that, so then what do you do with that? How do you reconcile that? Well, then I don't know how you do with it, but
I just ask if it's true.
Truth according to who?
Well, do I see their truth, and does it align with my truth? Like, can I validate and understand from their point of view why they're saying this, or how it made them feel, without being defensive and either like.
So then, would you say maybe because when the other person is giving you that feedback, I am thinking because that is their truth.
Yeah.
Their truth.
Right.
So if the other person's truth does not align with my truth, does that mean that it's invalid?
Was that your blind spot though?
That's what I'm saying. Is that what
Yeah.
I'm saying is that has to be a truth or feedback. So truth and opinion.
Jumping in the deep end here. I like this.
It's like 8, 10. I don't know when you end this, but so I mean that's something I want kind of leave it out there is that truth according to who? Your truth can be different than mine. Just because your truth different than mine, that doesn't make it less truth or doesn't make it invalid.
Well, no. So like what I'm saying is like, could I be wrong? So sometimes I'm like, nuh-uh.
Well,
I'm not wrong.
could it be? Does it have to be right and wrong, or true or not true? Could it be just say, okay, how is this be helpful?
Yeah.
Okay, so the feedback, somebody's giving you feedback, so that's like expanding your in a blind spot, right? Okay, we're not gonna know it's true or right and wrong because it's our blind spot.
Right. Okay.
So how are we? Where's a reference to use
Right.
that that because it's your blind spot. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I guess that will be more like if somebody gives you feedback like that, then once it becomes your awareness, then you be watching out for it.
Yeah.
You be kind of seeing. That's the self journey. Is okay. Let me see if this is something that I do or the
Yeah.
willingness, receptiveness, and instead of they don't even know what they're talking about. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just fine. That doesn't even give you a chance, opportunity to be aware, become mindful of you. Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, very good.
Okay.
Well, and that's so like one easy example is like like I grew up with only sisters, no brothers, but I grew up mostly, I don't know, very in the 90s,
I'm
80s,
like in the
90s.
tens. I don't know what you're gonna say next.
Where it's being sexist is actually like normal. Like saying, hey, you hit like a girl, you play like a girl, stop crying, you sissy. Like those were just what I grew up with, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But then I had daughters,
Yeah.
and then my daughters are very, very strong.
They don't hit like a girl. They hit like a boy.
Well, no.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, they're strong with that.
Yeah.
But they're very like confident in who they are. They've always been taught that women are equal. There's no lesser, and you fight for what's right, and all these kind of things. And I would say stuff that I didn't even know I was saying.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And they would call me on that and be like,
Ooh,
well,
good
Dad,
girls. Yes,
Dad,
go girl.
that's sexist. And I'm like, well, that's not what I meant it to be. And before that used to be okay because, again, I'm a guy. I can out-talk people. I could just say, well, that's not what I meant.
But you don't
I'm
even know
sorry
what you
you
meant.
interpreted it that way.
But you don't even know what that meant.
What?
You don't know what it was when you said, well, that's not what I meant. But
Yeah.
you don't know what else it meant.
Right. And so then with them, though, because I really care about them, I don't want to out-talk them. I don't want to over-rationalize or intellectualize the
Sure.
whole thing, which is what I normally would do, is debate it.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know you did.
So, and I did a lot of that in Wise Women. Like, okay, wait, is this okay to say like that?
But sometimes I think that's how we grow too.
Yeah.
They're being challenged.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I would start to say, well, maybe, like, I am wrong in that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should talk differently.
Maybe I. Yeah.
Maybe even though I feel like I'm right and the intention's right,
Mm-hmm.
but it's being heard a different way, then maybe I'm not right.
But then clarify your intention. One of the phrase I really love from reading from Brene Brown, I can't remember which
Brene
book.
Brown is
Yeah,
awesome,
I know.
yes.
But one thing I just keep saying is that clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Then
Yes.
clarify your intention.
Yeah.
Right? To the other people.
Right. So,
And
yeah.
then the thing about it is that you wouldn't know. I mean, when your daughters give you the feedback, it's like they just kind of give you the first, what is it? Where's the here? The status quo.
Right.
Yeah. Challenge that.
Right.
You're gonna challenge your status quo.
Well, it's the call to adventure, the call to change. Like,
yeah. So you're like,
Yeah.
But then you can stay with a refusal, or you can move
Yeah.
on. You can speak.
Yeah.
No, you can accept that. But in that case, you accepted it because it was important to you.
Right.
So you make the conscious choice.
Yeah.
And then you kind of start.
See, what she doesn't know is I invited her on the show to get free therapy.
Okay. What he doesn't know is I came here to get free medical consultation. I give up. Yes, it was fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we talked about the six part, like or tests and allies and enemies and frenemies and all that. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts too. I'm going to go back through and read some of these, but talk about your stuff too, right? It's we're all, nobody's going to judge you.
Nobody
So, it's
except
all
you,
fine.
except him. He
It's all just
No, I'm
between
kidding.
us on Facebook, so So next week we want to talk about the third part of this, and the third what?
No, it's somebody left a
Oh.
message in my.
So the third part of that journey is we want to talk about the approach to the innermost cave, and like you said, you think that's like the best part,
Oh, it is.
but that's the part that is soul crushing. I think
painful
so
for
many
sure.
people.
I mean, but
Has the
not
greatest reward.
Oh my goodness! Because I think that's where we almost like that reminds me of a butterfly. We go in as a caterpillar in the and then cave, and then we make our cocoons there.
Yeah.
And we struggle in there, and we don't even know I don't know what actually happens in cocoon. Somebody told me that caterpillar melts.
Yeah.
And then somehow the butterfly become. And I wish somebody would put a camera so I want to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I just completely distracted. But anyhow, that's how I see it. Is that you go in, as caterpillars,
yes.
because you've been working steady, going through the second phase, meeting mentor, crossing the threshold, test, ally, enemies, whatnot. So you go through this steady process, difficult process, and then when you think it was over, you have to go through this part, which actually completely, how I want to say it is that it really shifts your internal world,
right?
And then you come out with this almost like brand new, but actually it's your own. It just wasn't there, or you didn't realize that the newly I don't know, the wisdoms, and they just completely change your perspective view of the world, and then with all these other possibilities that you never knew you had. I mean, what?
But that's if the butterfly comes out and isn't crushed internally by itself.
No, but that's the whole thing. Is transformation.
Oh, okay.
It's a happy ending.
This is when it works.
Yes, it's a happy ending.
All right.
But butterfly doesn't get crushed, do they?
No, like if you the people crush themselves, like they get like I survived these enemies, I survived my frenemies, I got my allies, and then it's like, what about you? Are you worthy? Are you good enough? And I think most people get crushed during that part.
I would like to think that. Okay, I
feel like there's gonna be a good talk next week.
Even if they might have that experience, but at the end they come out.
Yes.
Yeah. At the end, they will come out. Yes.
If they complete the journey.
Yes, they, however.
Just like a race.
You're
like, I'm racing. And then
I mean, you know what? You give up in the middle of the race and you walk backward. Yeah, but you still have time. You still have a chance to try later.
That's right.
So I don't think there's ever crushed enough to where never try back. Again, I don't think there's such thing as
never failure.
Never failure.
Just another time to go back in the cave.
Unless
Stronger
you die.
and strong. Oh, now you're crushing the butterfly.
I'm just kidding.
And then we'll talk about like the ordeal, which is with the ordeal, it's kind of like once you've kind of survived your own thing, then you have this kind of like new big thing of like
that's beautiful
of change.
Yeah.
And then the last.
But it's vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
I think that can be a really vulnerable place to be in because
Yes.
you just kind of came out brand new.
Yes.
And then you kind of I think I have a superpower, but I don't know how to use my superpower
Right.
yet.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And then the third part of that third phase is the reward, seizing the sword. Like you did it, like you get the trophy, and then there's the road back and how to like really cement this back into who you are.
Yeah.
So you become a beacon to other people, which will be the last part we're talking about.
Wow.
But yeah, so the next part is the dealing with your innermost cave.
Yeah.
Your innermost fears, and then once you come out of that, then using that, now I'm stronger, I have my allies, I know who my enemies are, I know who my frenemies are, and now I conquer this new challenge as a new person.
Yeah.
With new tools and then you finally like, oh my God. And I'm telling you, this part, I freaking love this part. Because I remember that sense of like, I'm freaking gonna make it! I'm
gonna make it. I haven't made it yet, but I'm gonna make it now.
That song from We're Gonna Make It After All.
Yep. And I think that's where we kind of I wonder that's where we learn to rely on and then our own wisdom.
Yes.
And then,
absolutely. Like we've tested, it's like, okay, it's real.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I have this, and then I can carry myself through this, and then also having the resource and mentors, everybody, your tribe.
Right.
I have these safe places that I can go to. And then I really do think having that sense of tribal community, and then that you feel belongs to, and then you can be transparent and vulnerable, and then just not feeling judged, and then their best interest, for they have best interest for you. I think that's really, really crucial. Absolutely crucial. I think that's what can really help you to make it or not make it.
Yes.
I think we really, because we're human beings are connecting beings. We social beings. We have to have the connections.
Yes.
You might not make it all the way throughout, but you by yourself, standing alone, they're kind of lonely.
Right.
So what's the point of that one now? Like, I don't have anybody to show my superpower.
I won a race all by myself, and no one else is here to celebrate. And did I win anything?
And the butterfly just go back to the cocoon.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you, Mariah, for being on the show again.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you for inviting me. It was really fun. I always have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys really enjoyed the show, and I want to hear your feedback, your questions, and next week we'll continue this. Holly's still off for a bit, and hopefully she'll be back after things settle down.
Sure.
And otherwise, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
I'm losing my voice. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.